Sorry about that. The hotkeys for the recording was interfering with the hotkeys for Gmax. So anyhow, F4 will take the grid look or the wired frame look away and take you back to a solid, and F3 and F4 will turn those on and off. So if you get that going on, that's what you can do. Go ahead and select the bottom base here, and we got to right click and turn it into a mesh, and then click verts. I don't need all these, so I'm going to delete all these extra verts, but move these out. Here's the other thing to know, to give you some insight. So I'll fix this. Let's do these at, we'll set these at -500. We'll set these ones at, it's the Y, so it's going to be at 500. We'll set these ones at 500. And I should have did this earlier, but it's going to be -500. What happened is a tile is only 1,000 by 1,000 in Neverwinter Nights. So that means our model is a little too big here. So I'm just going to line it up, go to verts. We'll shorten this side in just a hair bit here. And move this in. Grabbing these verts. Let me see how I got them. Let's put this at 200. So negative, it's on which axis? That's the y-axis. Negative 200. And we'll make these other ones here negative, or not negative, we'll just put them at 200. So it's the opposite. Then we'll set this at 500. And we'll set this at 500. -500, because it's on the other side. We're getting it down to where we need to be, so let's set this to 200, or wait, yeah, X 200. Let's set this to 300. 300. Set this one to 200. It's still X, so -200. And set these ones to -300. And we're getting it on our tile. Now we're getting it down to where we need to be. We're going to put this at 100 instead of 2. And this is y-axis -100. And we're just going to shrink this down a bit more, like so. And the whole wall down a little more, like so. Whoop. The floor of the wall is too low. So I'm going to grab those verts and pull them up. There, something more like that. Ooh, look at that. We didn't account for that. So let's go face, create, click on this vert, counterclockwise from this vert, and this one, and it's just highlighting. It's another setting, but this camera is not going to let me hit the F keys to turn those settings off. So, but we basically fill them in. It's filled in. It's just got those highlighted See, we took it off. Now let's go to turn everything off. So we're just at this here, the edible mesh part. None of these are turned on, no verts or faces. And I'm going to hold down my shift key and just click, not going to move it, just one click and let off the Z-axis. And that creates a copy in place of the current model. So there's two of them now. I'm going to right click and I'm going to hide mesh, or not hide mesh, hide section. There, that hides one of them. Highlight this one, hit vert, and now I am going to delete all these top verts here, and I'm going to delete all the bottom verts here, and that leaves me with just a plane, nothing else. Now I'm going to take the vert off. Now here's the key thing. I'm going to keep this selected. I'm going to right click, hit unhide all, but see I still have this selected, so I'm going to click again. I'm going to hit hide section. That hides that plane that I had. Okay, and now I'm going to hit this drop down and go to faces, and I'm going to click this face. I'm going to delete it, click this face, delete it, this one delete it, this one delete it. Now it has no floor in there, right? But go back to mesh. Now I'm going to unhide all, so it unhides that one I had in there. Now here's why I'm doing this. I'm going to texture these now. We want this bottom ground to be sand per se. So I'm going to go to first I'm going to go to the edit mesh that I've got right here. I'm going to go to this drop down here, scroll down. We got to add Arroyo trim mesh, and we don't want shadows. I don't like to use shadows, but we're going to click this here, box override, make these white, make us lighter to show up in the game correctly. And then we're going to add in UVW map, and we're going to do, we can leave it as a plane because it's a plane, it's not 3D, it's just flat surface. And I like to set these settings at 501 tab 5, whoop, leave that as a 1. All this doing is these 501s is just basically resizing the texture in a sense to where this texture is 1,000 by 1,000. I'm basically saying I want the texture to cover 500 by 500. Therefore, it's going to take 4 textures to cover this area. So it's going to condense my. It'll take the same texture 4 times to cover it instead of 1. But the more you stretch the texture, then the more the worse it looks, in my opinion. It gets distorted. Stretching it too much gets distorted. Condensing it makes it look crisper. But then if it's like a, but you'll see here in a minute. Okay, I'll click on these little balloons up here. Here's the for textures. I'm going to go to File. So I got my textures in a file. I've got them on my D drive under a texture folder. So I go down here, but I'm going to drag this over a little bit to the side. Try to see if I can get. I'm used to using both my screens, but I want you guys to be able to see. I'm looking for. Here's a stone text, or not stucco. It's a stucco one. The stone one I want is here, so I'm going to grab that and put it on the wall. And I'm looking for the sand. The sand one I want's here, so I'm going to grab it and stick it here. That's showing up now because we got the UV mapping on, so it's showing the sand color up. Now I want cobble right here, and I'm going to grab it and put that on the floor part. Okay, so minimize this. Now, selecting the wall, again, drop down, scroll all the way down, or trim mesh, again, drop down again, go down to UVW map, bam. But see, now it's applying it and it's stretching it down the sides because we don't have it as a box. So we're going to change it to a box. That means it's 3D. And like I said, let's just do 1001 tab 1001 tab 1001, which is what I'm going to want this one set at because of the size of the texture I got. But you see, there's the stone, right? That's about the size I want them. However, if we was to change it to say 501, tab 501, tab 501, see how smaller the stones are? And if we was to change it to say 4,000, tab 4,000, tab 4,000. Whoops, I did 400 in that last box. 4,000. See how distorted it is? So, again, for this size texture is a 1024 by 1024. Tab 10. So, for this size texture, this is what I want to go with. Okay. So there's my texture. And to turn a grid, see this grid out here? If you want that on or off, G. Hit G, turns it on and off. Sometimes you want to be able to see what you're working on a little bit, and it's in your way. Now we got to click on this one here, which is our cobble. Again, down at the bottom, Aurora trim mesh. Click on the box, go to VW map, and it's a plane, so it can be fine. I think this one I want at 501, tab 501. And you just do the first two, because it's a plane. So now we have the cobblestone to walk on, we have the stone that the wall was built with, and we have the sand which it's on the ground. But that gives you a basic, and we got to fill in these faces over here. We can fill those in, and we technically, this wall is going to butt up against another wall, so technically we don't even need these here. It's extra faces. So by deleting them, we'll cut back on to get rid of any diverts. It's just saying if it's not connected to it, diverts, get rid of them. So I'm going to get rid of them. By doing this, it takes extra unneeded polys, because what's going to happen, the next wall is going to butt right up against it. I'll show you just a second. So when it's in a tool set, this is a wall in a tool set. Whoops. What's going to happen, we'll highlight this, hold shift, grab an arrow, pull, just copy the whole thing, right? So, and I want the royal base. Click, there's the royal base. It'll move everything at once when I grab these arrows. Whoops. Nope, because I don't have, this bottom isn't attached to it. Grab this. You know what, here, I'll just highlight everything again. Grab it and try to, sometimes you can't see it. There, got the row base that time. Hit the move. And now, yep, everything's moving. So, in the tool set, that's what's going to happen. The wall's going to connect. Now, in theory, we really want to do some more cutouts on this, but I'm just trying to do a quick video. Do a couple more cutouts to get more pattern down through there. But then that's how they're just going to butt up, so you won't even see that they're opened on the ends when it's in the tool set. It'll just look like one solid wall. Okay. Now to export, you click on your base, and you've got to give it a name. So, like how a lot of them's done, you know, like TT for terrain, tile set terrain desert. Okay. Then let's do underscore, and I'm going to do, or no, we'll do desert, then do like 01 underscore, I'm going to do W for wall 01 underscore 01 there. Then I'll pick where I want to export it to, so browse. I'm going to go to my desktop and go under test and and export. And there's exported it. Now I want to check. Let's just double check. Let's go desktop, test. Wait, TDD, right there. There it is, exported. Now, let's just verify that we've covered everything that we wanted to cover. Right, originally planned to cover. Importing, we did in the last one. Creating a box, we did that. Changing verts, We did our views, yes. Rotating and moving, yes. Or well, rotating we didn't cover yet. So let's do rotating. Rotating would be, say we grab this base. You can grab the model, whatever, depending on what you want to rotate. Hit rotate, and you can grab the Z-axis and spin it this way, or you can grab the, grab this one and spin it this way, or if like everything's hooked to this one, so let's do this one, this row base. Okay, let's say I want to do a 45 on the Z-axis. So I just go to the Z-axis, I type in 45, bam, it spins it and sets it to a 45. Okay, that's backspace. Let's say I need to do a complete 90 on it. Just do 90, bam, done. Okay, now if I wanted to connect these two to create like a corner, I just cut back this wall so much and cut back this wall so much, extend this wall into this one, extend this wall into this one, extend this floor into this one, and then you got your corner. See? But stuff like that makes it easier. If you need a T, you just butt this one up against it, bam, you know, and do your cutouts, and now you got a T. So once you get a couple tile made, you can use the other tile to create other tile, and speeds the process up a little bit. Now, make a copy, did it, added verts, done it. Added faces, did that. Smoothing corners, we did not do yet. Add a row base, did. Mirrored, done that. Combined objects, did it. Add textures, did it. So, smoothing is the only thing. So, smoothing just kind of helps you make something look a little more, so the corners aren't so crisp in per se. Like say here, let's do verts. I'm going to make a copy of these verts going back this way, and I'm going to grab these same verts. I'm going to make a copy of them going back this way. Okay, now since I did that, go to face. I'm going to delete the face here, 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 and here. Now I'm going to create the faces again, but this time I want to click here, here, here. Whoop. Let's do it again. Create. Filling all these back in. Okay. But practicing with this, you're just going to get better and better and better. And it just takes time and practicing. Okay. So it was all done. Now I want to unclick this. I want to have faces selected, and then I'm just going to highlight these corner faces that I had. Oh, I'll highlight all those for now, it doesn't matter. Hit this one, that's a one smoothing, and once that's done, then you'll see how that we took. Okay, now you'll see somewhat how that tends to try to smooth this over a little bit more so than say, see how sharp and plain that is in the shadow. This one isn't doing that as much. It's trying to, we'll also click faces. Let's take this face, we'll take that smoothing off, and we'll take this one, and we'll take the smoothing off that face, and we'll take it off of this. Now let's see if that helps. That helps a little bit. And what would even help it even more so is if we just totally took these corner verts out. And like say if I wanted to take this out, and face, create these together, it's going to be a 45 in there, which in theory try to put some of this back real quick, or at least enough so you can see. So if I take and select this here, go to faces and select these faces right here, then drop down, click this smoothing group. Well, I didn't have the faces selected for some reason. Up. Let's see, face. Select this one, hit face. There. Whoops. Okay, now go to the smoothing groups. One. I'm going to tack this top one, take that one off. And take this one off. Okay. And grab. Okay, so those are off. Now, by doing those, it looks more rounded now. Okay? You're going to still see the top one because of that plane, but this part looks more rounded. That's all the smoothing does, is it tries to make your corners look more rounded, or an object look more rounded instead of the sharp crisp. And it's just the playing of the light, as you can see how it's shadowing and not shadowing. It's just the playing of the light on that versus see how dark the shadow is here to give a crisp line. Okay, that's pretty much it. That's most of the basics. I mean, there's other things maybe we'll get to later another time, but we could fill that back in. Once it's filled in, we could grab the royal base and we can set to where we want to export and hit the export and get it out of there. Use, like I showed you in the other videos, import it in the hack, and then you have it. Since it's a tile set, then it requires more work with the .set files and the ITP files and stuff like that to get it all to show up and work in the game. But that's how you create a model, a basic model, and some of the basic tools using Gmax for Neverwinter Nights. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.